everyone, welcome to my little corner of the internet. Today we're diving into a topic that affects us all in the digital age, even if we don't even know it. Cybercrime. But why this topic, you're probably thinking? Why should we concern ourselves with the complexities of cybercrime? Well, the answer lies in the very fabric of our interconnected society. In today's digital age, where every aspect of our lives, from our personal information to our financial transactions, is stored and processed online, the threat of cybercrime looms larger than ever before. I mean, how many of you only use Apple Pay or Venmo for transactions? How many of you have a large social media presence? These are just some of the questions that show us how reliant we really have become on technology and the internet, me included. Okay, so picture this. A shadowy figure hunched over a computer, launching sophisticated attacks against unsuspecting victims halfway across the globe. This isn't the plot of a movie. It's the reality of our modern world. Cybercrime knows no bounds, targets individuals, businesses, and even governments with ruthless efficiency. In order to truly protect ourselves against cybercriminals and prevent us from being victims of cybercrime, we first need to understand what exactly it is we're talking about here. What is cybercrime? What does it look like? How big of a problem is it? How is it defined, and what are the different types of threats lurking in the dark depths of the internet? To begin our understanding of this topic, Merriam-Webster defines cybercrime as criminal activity such as fraud, theft, or distribution of child pornography, committed using a computer, especially to illegally access, transmit, or manipulate data. This seems pretty vague, doesn't it? I think we need a little bit more information here to really know what we're talking about. Let's dive a little bit deeper into this in an article from the Technology and Society Journal, entitled Understanding Cybercrime from a Criminal's Perspective, Why and How Suspects Commit Cybercrime. In this article, researchers Lee, Kang, and Kim emphasize that cybercrime is a current and worsening problem all over the world, and that various types of cybercrime, such as hacking, identity theft, harassment, and various forms of financial fraud, are rampant. But effective measures and legislation to prevent or cope with them are in short supply. For example, according to their article, in 2020 the FBI reported around 800,000 cases of cybercrime. Furthermore, cybersecurity ventures estimated that the global damage from cybercrimes in 2015 reached $3 trillion and estimates these damages to increase to $10.5 trillion in 2025. Can you imagine that money? I can't. So clearly cybercrime is a problem. A big one. And if we don't address it, it can become even worse. But how can we address it if we don't understand it? In their study, Lee, King, and Kim interviewed cybercrime investigators to really capture the big picture of what cybercrime is and what it looks like. Classifying cybercrime into three types, such as crimes against machines, crimes using machines, and crimes in the machines, they were able to uncover the key motives, methods, channels, suspects, and victims for different types of cybercrime. For example, they found that hacking is the main form of integrity-related crime and involves breaching machines such as mobile phones and computers. For example, a criminal may attempt to access someone's online account without permission by using the victim's personal information like a login ID and password. This is what we usually think about when we hear cybercrime, what we see in TV shows and movies. For computer-related cybercrime, cyber transactions and cyber finance are the two main forms. In a cyber transaction, a criminal may attempt to profit from fake sales. And for cyber finance, a criminal may try to make a payment by using the victim's phone information without permission. I feel like this type is a lot less known about. Lastly, cyberstalking and cyber defamation are the two main forms of content-related crime using machines. In cyberstalking, for example, a criminal may try to overwhelm a victim with malicious messages. And in cyber defamation, a criminal may try to post malicious comments about a victim online. This type is also talked about and seen very often, especially by those who are very present on social media. In terms of motives, the results from the study show that integrity-related crimes are often driven by motives such as fun, getting information, and game items. Computer-related crimes are primarily motivated by financial gain, and content-related crimes are motivated by factors such as public anger, fun, and personal condemnation. Alright, so now we know what cybercrime may look like and why it occurs. But what about how cybercrime is committed? Now that we know what to look for, what steps do attackers take to commit these crimes? So imagine you're sipping your morning coffee before class, blissfully unaware of the digital dangers lurking just a click away. Suddenly you receive an email in your inbox that seems a little too good to be true. Congrats! You've won a free trip to Hawaii. It's all yours if you simply provide your credit card information. Okay, pause. Behind that very enticing offer lies a phishing scam waiting to reel in unsuspecting victims like digital fish. In this case, you. Phishing scams are like the chameleons of cybercrime. They can mimic legitimate emails from trusted sources or even websites, luring you into clicking on malicious links or providing sensitive information. It's like receiving a Trojan horse disguised as a gift. Once you invite it in, it wreaks havoc on your digital kingdom. But that's not the only technique cybercriminals may use to take advantage of us. From ransomware that holds your precious files hostage to social engineering tactics that make you reveal your personal information, cybercriminals have an arsenal of techniques that they can use to take advantage of even the most formidable of targets. For example, in a groundbreaking study published in the Criminal Justice Studies Journal, researchers Reed Petward and delved into the world of cybercrimes against critical infrastructures. This study not only examines the characteristics of these attacks, but also creates an attacker typology based on the cybercriminal's motives, skills, resources, and organization. Since we already talked about types of cybercrimes and motives, we'll just focus on the techniques found in this study. Now, why are critical infrastructure attacks such a big deal, you ask? Well, picture this. Imagine if the power grid suddenly went dark, or if the transportation system stopped functioning completely. These are not just hypothetical scenarios. They are real threats cybercriminals exploit to wreak havoc on our society. But how? As seen in this study, these cybercooks employ tactics to infiltrate systems, steal data, and disrupt vital services. Here are some examples. Exploited bugs and loopholes refer to vulnerabilities in software or systems that cybercriminals exploit to gain unauthorized access or control. These vulnerabilities can range from programming errors to configuration oversights, providing a backdoor for cybercriminals to infiltrate. Rootkits are a type of malicious software that burrow deep into a system's core, gaining privileged access and control. Once installed, rootkits are notoriously difficult to detect and remove, allowing cybercriminals to maintain their access and execute malicious activities without detection. Toolkits, also known as exploit kits, are collections of tools and software designed to automate the process of exploiting vulnerabilities in software or systems. These kits are often sold or distributed on the dark web, providing cybercriminals with easy-to-use tools to launch sophisticated attacks with minimal technical expertise. Lastly, botnets are networks of compromised computers or devices controlled by cybercriminals, often without the knowledge of their owners. These botnets can be used to carry out a variety of malicious activities, such as launching a distributed denial-of-service attack, sending spam emails, or mining cryptocurrency. These are only some techniques that cybercriminals can use to commit their nefarious deeds, but this list of techniques only grows as technology evolves. I mean, within the last year, we got the Apple Vision Pro that looks like it came straight out of Ready Player One. Who knows what will come next and how these products can be exploited? So why am I telling you so much about cybercrime? Why should we know about it? Cybercrime isn't just a nuisance. It's a real threat that can really have some devastating consequences. From the safety of our personal information to the stability of our critical infrastructure, cybercrime casts a wide net of disruption and uncertainty. As we dive deeper into the complexities of cybercrime, it becomes clear that policing, preventing, and investigating these digital offenses is not easy. Unlike traditional crime, cybercrimes often cross borders, which makes them extremely difficult to track and prosecute. And with the rapid evolution of technology, cybercriminals are constantly adapting and innovating, staying one step ahead of law enforcement. Furthermore, the global nature of cybercrime makes it extremely difficult for laws to identify and control it. So, why should we care? Cybercrime doesn't just affect individuals, it impacts society as a whole. It undermines trust in our digital infrastructure, threatens the integrity of our financial systems, and even erodes our sense of security in both the digital and physical world. Now that we know what cybercrime is and what it entails, let's shine a spotlight on the challenges that law enforcement faces when tackling cybercrime. Traditionally, law enforcement agencies have been well equipped to investigate physical crimes. This is done by gathering evidence, interviewing witnesses, and building cases through traditional investigative methods. However, when it comes to cybercrime, the landscape changes dramatically. Unlike physical crimes, where evidence may be tangible and localized, cybercrime leaves digital footprints that can span across jurisdictions or even international borders. This presents a jurisdictional nightmare for law enforcement agencies, as determining which court has jurisdiction over which case can be a complex and time-consuming process. Let's turn to a study published in Policing, an international journal of police strategies and management. This study by Kuziarski and Lee from 2020 examines specific cybercrime incidents and explores the challenges faced by law enforcement in investigating and prosecuting these complex cases. One of the key challenges identified in this study is lack of standardized procedures and global policies for prosecuting cybercrimes. With no uniform set of laws governing cybercrimes, law enforcement agencies are often left to navigate a legal minefield, unsure of which laws apply to what actions, and then, if they do, how they apply to those actions. Furthermore, the implementation of evidence-based policing, as discussed in this study, can be hindered by the complex nature of cybercrimes. Gathering digital evidence, such as IP addresses, metadata, and digital communications, requires specialized knowledge and resources. Without the proper training or technology, law enforcement agencies may struggle to effectively gather and analyze digital evidence, making it challenging to build strong cases against cybercriminals. This discussion is seen also in Eileen Martin's 2022 dissertation titled The Evolving Challenges, Issues of Cybercrime, Law Enforcement Personnel, Preparedness, and Training. Martin's research shines light on a harsh reality. Many law enforcement agencies are about as prepared for cybercrimes as a fish is for a bicycle race. Now, why is that? Well, it turns out budget constraints often leave them floundering without sufficient resources to implement proper cybercrime training programs. Picture this: officers trying to fight cybercriminals with nothing but a flip phone and a fax machine. Yeah, not exactly a fair fight, is it? She also discusses the challenges that law enforcement officers face when detecting and investigating cybercrimes. The use of outdated investigative methods and the lack of specialized knowledge on cybersecurity can lead to delays in identifying cyber threats and mounting effective responses to them. Investigative methods that wouldn't look out of place in a 90s hacker movie are about as effective as trying to catch a unicorn with a butterfly net. And with cybercriminals getting sneakier by the day, it's like trying to play whack-a-mole blindfolded. This lack of preparation and expertise on this evolving threat allows cybercriminals to exploit more vulnerabilities and evade detection for much longer, increasing their overall threat to us. Alright, we've explored the challenges that law enforcement faces in the cybercrime battleground, but now let's shift our focus to the other side of the coin: the criminal justice system. When it comes to prosecuting cybercrimes, one of the biggest hurdles for the criminal justice system is navigating the labyrinth of jurisdictional and policy issues. Imagine this scenario: a cybercriminal orchestrates a sophisticated hacking operation from a remote location, targeting individuals and organizations across multiple jurisdictions. Now, when law enforcement agencies attempt to apprehend the perpetrator and bring them to justice, they're met with a myriad of jurisdictional challenges. Which jurisdiction has the authority to prosecute the offender? Is it the jurisdiction where the perpetrator is currently located, physically, the jurisdiction where the victims reside, or perhaps international jurisdiction which has ties to the cybercrime? The paper, Jurisdiction for Criminal Offenses of Cybercrime, International and National Standards, delves a lot deeper into these jurisdictional issues. For example, the paper specifically highlights that while the Budapest Convention on Cybercrime provides extensive rules on international cooperation, it lacks a concrete resolution for conflicts of jurisdiction. This absence of universal laws outlining how to manage the nuances of cybercrime creates a complex legal landscape for law enforcement agencies and courts to navigate. With the lack of global policies and standardized procedures, prosecuting cybercrimes is a really daunting task for law enforcement agencies worldwide. There's also a ton of policy issues that come about when applying old laws to digital issues. Take, for instance, as discussed in the paper Cybercrime Litigation published in the University of Pennsylvania Law Review, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, a federal statute enacted in 1986 to combat computer-related crimes. While the CFAA has served as a cornerstone of cybercrime prosecution for decades, its applicability to modern-day cybercrimes has come under scrutiny. For example, the language and provisions of the CFAA, drafted in an era before the widespread use of technology and the internet, may struggle to adequately address the complexities of contemporary cybercrime. As a result, prosecutors often find themselves grappling with the hard task of shoehorning modern cybercrimes into outdated legal frameworks, leading to ambiguity, inconsistency, and potential miscarriages of justice. This paper also discusses the frustration that arises as a result of these ambiguities and inconsistencies in policy and sentencing. On one side, you've got the cyber crusaders advocating for strict regulation and harsher penalties to deter cybercriminals. This is the expansionist viewpoint that wants expanded legal frameworks, increased regulation, and stronger enforcement measures to address cybercrime effectively. On the other side, you've got the cyber libertarians waving the flag of internet freedom, arguing against heavy-handed government intervention. This is the critical viewpoint that critiques heavy-handed government intervention and emphasizes the importance of preserving individual liberties and freedoms, even in the face of cyber threats. It's like a digital showdown on high noon. Okay, so not only do we have laws that disagree with each other, or are too broad to be applied consistently, but now we have widespread disagreement over how we should be prosecuting cybercrime. How can anything possibly get done? Alright, so that was definitely a lot to throw at you. Now what does it all mean? Let's take a moment to recap, shall we? Throughout this video, we've delved into the intricate world of cybercrime, exploring its definition, various types, and the techniques used by cybercriminals. From phishing scams to ransomware attacks, we've seen it all. It's like a virtual safari, but with fewer lions and more hackers. We've also examined the challenges faced by both the criminal justice system and law enforcement in investigating, prosecuting, and combating cybercrimes. But amidst the chaos and complexity, one key theme emerges: the importance of understanding cybercrime. As we've seen, cybercrime knows no boundaries. It operates in the shadows of the digital realm, transcending geographical borders and legal jurisdictions. And yet, our understanding of cybercrime remains incomplete. It's like trying to navigate a maze blindfolded, without a map, or, in this case, research, or just stumbling around in the dark, hoping to find the exit somehow. Despite the growing prevalence of cybercrimes, there's definitely still a glaring gap in research in this area. We need more studies, more data, and more insights to unravel cybercrime and develop effective strategies to combat it. Without a deep understanding of cybercrime, law enforcement agencies and policymakers are left scrambling for a solution and trying to navigate a landscape that's constantly evolving around them. So now that we've peeled back the layers of cybercrime and uncovered its complexities and challenges, you might be wondering, what now? What can we do about it? First off, let's talk about training. We need to arm our law enforcement officers with the skills and knowledge that they need to tackle cybercrime head-on. That means more cybersecurity and cybercrime training programs tailored specifically to law enforcement professionals. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Studies like the one from the University of Pennsylvania Law Review, like we saw today, have shown that investing in training can significantly improve our ability to detect, address, investigate, and prosecute cybercrime. But training does not stop with law enforcement. We also need to educate ourselves, and also those who can be the next generation of cybercrime law enforcement. That's where programs like the one that I'm in at Eastern University comes in. By offering coursework in both cybersecurity and criminal justice, institutions like Eastern are equipping students with the skills that they need to make a difference in the fight against cybercrime, a real one. And hey, if you're passionate about both cyber and crime like me, then programs like these ones are definitely a match made in heaven. And let's not forget about international cooperation. Cybercrime knows no borders, which means that we need a coordinated global effort to combat it. That means creating a universal definition of cybercrime and developing global policies and cooperative programs to address it. By working together across borders, we can pool our resources, share information, and tackle cybercrime on a global scale. And with that, we've reached the end of our cybercrime journey. But before I end the video, I just want to take a moment to thank you for joining me on this exploration of the digital underworld. I hope you've learned something, and I hope that you feel even a little bit more prepared against cybercrime. But our journey does not end here. No, the fight against cybercrime is definitely still ongoing, and we all need the help that we can get. So I encourage you to stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay engaged in the fight against cybercrime. Whether it's through advocating for better cybersecurity measures, supporting legislation to combat cybercrime, or simply spreading awareness about the issue, every action counts. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Until we meet again, take care, stay safe, and remember to always double check those URLs before clicking. May your spam filter be strong, and your passwords even stronger.